Welcome back to the show. Certainly pleased to have our next guest because it's a busy day for her. She has her vernissage happening tonight. We'll give you all the details in just a moment, but pleased to introduce you to Angelina Barrucco. She is a visual artist. Welcome to the show, Angelina, and thanks for reaching out to us, by the way. Really appreciate it. Angelina, let's talk a little bit about your background. Where did the arts come into your life?
Well, I began my life with Bachelor of Science in Chemistry and Math, and then I did the most amazing job, stayed at home with my kids for 17 years, of which was a true gift to me. And then after that, as my kids were in high school, I needed to do something, so I've always wanted to go into the arts, and I wanted to when I was younger, but I kind of put it aside and went back to school, did my certificate at School of Photographic Arts Ottawa, and then just finished my master's at the University of Ottawa in visual arts.
Wow, congratulations.
Thank you.
That's amazing. So what mediums do you work with then?
Mostly with photography.
Okay.
And I dabble in a lot of, I kind of mix the two. I'll do digital, but I also like to do all sorts of alternative processes and experimentation that lends me to go into the dark room where I can use my hands a lot more.
What attracted you to photography in particular?
Oh, I don't know. I think I just was always snapping pictures, and it just was convenient.
Well, and you really took advantage, like actually many artists did during the pandemic. I know it's difficult to get out there, of course, and promote yourself depending on the type of artist, but you took advantage of that, and it really is the inspiration behind this new exhibition. Tell me about that.
So basically, this new exhibition evolved from my master's degree. I was one of many students who started university in my master's or undergrads just before the pandemic hit.
Okay.
And then all of a sudden, your studio to work from, all your access in university was stripped away due to government regulations, and you were sent home to do your art at home. So it forced me to problem solve and push my creativity and shift, not completely shift some of my work, but explore different avenues.
Right.
So the pandemic kind of, I thrived in it with my art. It was also a way of me being able to deal with the emotions or the mental health stuff with the pandemic by creating art and using it as a tool to help me heal. Yeah,
and there's 4 components to this exhibition. Yes. Let's start the first, which is, I understand it's an ongoing component, and it's called Pandemic Soap. Tell me the idea behind this.
So I was experimenting using all sorts of different resists and onto photographic film. Before I started this project. And when the pandemic hit, I became very anxious, and I was like listening to the government, like, wash your hands 20 seconds, sing this song. And I thought, okay, well, that's it. I'm gonna force myself to document my hand washing through this pandemic. So now I'm up to 1,065 pieces as of today. So what I do is I take a sheet of photographic 4x5 film, and throughout the day, I wash my hands. And I will rest the soap on the photographic film. And at the end of the day, I'll process it, and then I have it as a record of my... And is this
is the idea of making a collage with all of this?
It's a big grid.
But
in a sense, an unfinished grid.
All right, so and the next component is called The Hand That Spells the Weeds Sows the Seeds.
The hand that pulls the weeds.
Pulls the weeds,
sows the seeds.
Tell me about that. What was I have a feeling there's a gardening component here because a lot of people turn to that too,
That's right. So everybody was doing these COVID gardens because all of a sudden seeds became tough to, there was a supply chain issue and all stuff. So I decided to investigate gardening during the pandemic, and I started to just take 8x10 photographic sheet film outside, and when I would pull the weeds from my garden, I'd rest it on the sheet film, put a piece of glass and let it cook in the sun for the day. And then later, as the negative drive, I would process it and contact print them in the darkroom to make silver gelatin prints. So it's my investigation of, like, how do we decide which plant is a weed? And which one is more invasive and which one's not? And if the squirrel transplants a seed from this tomato into the middle of a row, well, now is that tomato plant that's growing in the middle of a clear spot a weed, or do you collect it and put it somewhere else?
Yeah, I know where you're coming from, because I think, there are certain things that many people consider a weed, and then I may look at it, or you may look at it and think, oh my goodness, that's like a dandelion we've decided is a weed. In my opinion, I love a field of dandelions. I mean, it looks like we've lost your mic, so just grab that one.
Okay, thank
Things
you.
like this happen.
Yeah.
Let's move on to the next one, because I don't want to run out of time. This is portraits in the time of social distancing.
That's right.
And this is really cool, because this is done virtually, right?
Yeah, so all this work is done without a camera. And this one's done virtually using the screen grab function of the computer.
Okay.
So I had started a project doing portraiture in my MFA, but restrictions wouldn't allow any of the sitters into my studio.
Of course.
So I had to find a way to continue my portraiture practice. And so I would ask for volunteers through social media, and they would come into my Zoom room, and then I would tell them, I'd like to take your portrait. I would take a screen grab of them in the space that they would show everyone.
Right.
And then I would ask everyone to turn their device around so I could photograph where I would have been standing, and they'd all peer over their computers like this, going, okay. No one declined.
What a great idea.
Yeah.
Like, really, really innovative idea. Very quickly, last one is called Who Were You?
Yes,
Tell me about that.
and that's a byproduct. It's like a sister project to the portraits. And so I would ask the sitters a question, who were you? And they would respond in a few sentences who they were. And a lot of it became relevant to the pandemic. And so I made a video of their answers to the questions using the grab screen, the chat function in Zoom.
Right.
And so they created like a 26-minute video.
It's really fast. Like, I am so impressed.
Oh, thank you.
Well, I mean, being at home and isolated and taking advantage and still being able to create, especially in this manner, is really cool. Really great. You're at the Ottawa School of Art.
Yes.
The vernissage is tonight at 5, is that right?
Yep, 5 to 8 p.m.
Excellent.
Feel free to come by, and I look forward to seeing many faces, and I'm hoping the weather just...
It'll be fun. We're Canadian. It'll be fine. Go and visit Angelina. Also, it is running until March the 19th, so you have plenty of time to check it out. We'll be right back after this.